In this video, I want to show you how to replace your EGR valve. It's located right back there behind this cover, so let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and pull this tube out of the way. You don't have to, I'm just doing it so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Now I'm going to use an adjustable wrench, and my tube is actually fairly new, so for me this is going to be easier than it might be for you. Unfortunately, sometimes these are so rotted that you have to replace both the tube and the valve, and even sometimes the manifold at the same time. But for me, I'm going to show you how to do the tube by itself. Use your adjustable wrench and get this fitting off of here. Be careful of any vacuum hoses that are in the way. At this point I can do it by hand. All right, this one's almost loose all the way, so let's go down at the manifold, unbolt it from there, and then we'll pull it up and out through here. Down here at the manifold, you'll see two nuts. One is the top one, which is what we're going for. This one right here, this is the fitting on the pipe. This is just an adapter that threads into the manifold, so don't worry about this lower one. Here, yours also might be very rusty, in which case you might have to cut it off, remove this fitting, or even remove the manifold and replace it. Okay, that popped off. Let's go back up top and remove it from the top. Loosen it up here. Now you'll see that there are two hoses connected to this EGR tube. Go ahead and remove those. One is bigger than the other, so you can't confuse them by accident because they won't fit backwards. Now you can just fish this tube out. And there you have it. There's your EGR tube. Now unplug this vacuum hose off the valve, and then there's a 10mm nut on this side which holds on the bracket, which is clamped over the stud that holds on the EGR valve. So we have to remove this to then remove the stud that holds the valve on. Here's the mounting nut, set it aside. It's going to be hard to see because it's hidden in here, but if you come right over here, there's a 10mm bolt, screw actually, that holds on this bracket onto the intake, and if you unscrew this, even just a little bit, it'll give this bracket some play, and you can move it out of your way. So I'll just loosen this up, and there you have it. Now you can remove this bracket, or not remove it, but move it out of the way, which will now expose the stud here, also a 10mm. So let's go ahead and remove this. Now sometimes this will be corroded in place, and you'll have to heat it up a little bit in order to not break it inside the throttle body. So for me, it comes out, but there you have it. This is how you remove this one. And then there's another bolt on the back side of the EGR. That's what this one looks like. And the one on the back side is just a regular bolt, 10mm head. You don't have to remove any brackets or anything. Hold this EGR valve as you remove the bolt so it doesn't fall down. For me, the gasket actually broke free. It's not stuck to either the valve or the throttle body, so I'm holding on to that too. Okay, here's the rear bolt. Set it aside. Here's the valve. Here's my gasket, which fell down, but sometimes, usually, it'll be stuck either on here or most likely on the valve itself. Now make sure your surface is clean and bring in your new valve with the gasket, of course. Line everything up. I'll try and hold this all together here while I start in one bolt. I'm going to start with this one in the back. Okay. Now I'm going to start this one in the front. Perfect. Make sure you start these by hand so that nothing cross threads. And now you can just snug these two up. Nice and snug. And now slide this bracket right over the stud. Put the nut on that holds it on. And tighten that one up as well. Nice and snug. And then tighten up this other screw on the front here if you loosen it up. Get this hose out of the way. Now let's put the tube back in. Now with the EGR tube lined up again, let's go ahead and tighten the fitting up. Okay, it's snug. Give it a little extra to make sure that it seals up. Now you can reconnect any vacuum lines that you've had to disconnect. Now let's go ahead and thread on the lower fitting of this EGR onto the manifold. Let's get it close to being bottomed out. Slide your wrench on it. And make sure that it is nice and tight. Now let's go ahead and plug in the two vacuum hoses. You can see one is larger than the other. This top fitting is going to be the larger one. Make sure it slides on nice and secure. And then the smaller one, make sure that one slides on nice. Perfect. At this point, you want to turn on your engine, make sure it runs smooth, and you have no check engine light.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.